What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video here. As you guys probably saw, we are making a front splitter for this thing. There we go, right here. There we go. Now I want to make a front splitter for this even since before I had the car, you know. We got the spoiler done earlier. The matching piece obviously would be a splitter here. So on most of my models I built, like 99% of them have splitters and spoilers. That's just kind of my thing. I really like how they look. So yeah, that's what we're gonna get into. So right here in front of me is a mock-up splitter I made just out of cardboard, spray painted black. It's held together with some painter's tape back there, and I made this back in, I don't know, January or February, and you can see it's got rounded corners here rather than just a 90. Like a square there, and it comes to a point in the center. Now this is mimicked off a, I want to say 73 or 74 dirt track duster, K&K insurance duster. I'll throw up some pictures right here. And I really like this style compared to, you know, just having like a 90 on the side here with a flat piece across, like a lot of the stock cars did. Personally, I just don't think that looked as good on the front of these cars, so we went ahead, mocked this up. I'll throw a picture of this mocked up on the front right here. Starting off, I'm gonna go through and explain kind of our plan of attack for how we're gonna make this all work. So I have 3 of these pieces, which are, I forget what they are, 3/16 by a quarter, and they're 3 feet long, which works out perfectly. You can see I have 2 taped together there, and I have a single one here. So this single one is actually going to be welded between the 2 bumper brackets. One's right there and one's right there. So this is going to be solid mounted to the body. Now the 2 I have taped together here are on a 65-degree angle, and these will be welded together. And so this one will be solid mounted to the body here, and this one right here will have holes in it. This will have holes in it as well. And now we come here, you can see this pin. So I wanted them to be on quick pins, so it'd be easily removable, you know, if I want to go on dirt or something, or off-roading. That way, you know, we're not dealing with screwdrivers or ratchets, anything like that. Literally, just a pin. And these seem to hold a lot of weight. I was going to go with quick pins originally. I was kind of skeptical on how those would work, so I'm actually really excited to go ahead with these. Alright, now I'm not sure if I explained that super well or if any of you got that. So this is the set of kind of instructions or my original idea I drew out. You can see 2 bumper brackets, solid mounted piece right there. This is 2 pieces that'll be welded together. One will be on an angle, splitter will mount to the angular piece, and then the flat piece will have holes in it. So will this one, which is a quick pin we'll go through. So right now I'm going to get to work and weld these 2 together. So I just wrapped up welding this entire piece here, and these welds were a lot easier because these are fillet welds, and you can see I'm just getting some good ones down. I was trying to go, you know, one here, then one there, then, you know, in the middle, and kind of going back and forth, splitting it up, not to warp it. We'll get to what happened in a second. Now that I got this lined up on this, you can see there is a visible gap through there. That is what I didn't want to happen. That's probably a solid 1/4 inch right there. You could see the whole thing is kind of bowed just like that. So we're gonna go through and see if we can't bend this somewhat, you know, straight, like for at least this piece to be as flat as possible, because this is a piece that's gonna be in between the bumper brackets, and I need these pins to go through it just like that. So I do need them to be touching. See what we can do about that, but all in all, pretty happy with this piece. Well, gotta give credit to my dad on this one. I was ready to honestly go out, get some more metal, and scrap this piece and start over. We were trying to, you know, bend this in the vise, hammer it, nothing was working. Then he was like, well, we have a press, don't we? I was like, yeah. So we just spent a half hour without these blocks on here, so you can see there's a gap. We had the piece on there, you know, he'd put the press down, I'd move it like an inch, loosen it, over and over, and did the whole thing a couple times to get it relatively straight. You know, we had the square on there, trying to get it straight. And now we just put these blocks back on here, and we got to go through and just kind of go like every ½ inch with the blocks on it to try to get it as flat as we can. So hopefully after maybe a couple rounds of this, it should be back to being a straight piece. Well, after spending a good amount of time pushing this piece down with the press here, you can see that is on the ground. Wow. If you remember yesterday, there was like a quarter-inch gap like right there in the center, and now that is touching the ground. So this piece on this side here also needs some hammering. That is perfect. I'm very, very happy with that. I was worried we'd have to start over. So now it's time to move on to the next part of this. Okay, bumper is off, and here you guys will be able to see why I wanted the splitter to be on quick pins. Is because, yeah, I like to go off-roading a lot. That's just a little bit. You can see it's pretty filthy under here from dirt and such. I was gonna say it's the first time we had the bumper off, but that would be incorrect. Took it off earlier because we went through, cleaned up, painted the bumper brackets, painted everything underneath there. So yeah, you can see here, I'm literally just gonna weld the bar between this here all the way across right to there. Originally, I was gonna have it like go in between it. But then looking at it, I think I'm just gonna have it go underneath it because I have more surface area on this little lip right here to weld to on the bottom. So that's kind of game plan for that. On the angular piece here, I went through and just grind it down this to get it as smooth as I can. Now this is a piece that's gonna be welded between. It's gonna sit on top of there. I gotta go through, measure out, decide where I'm gonna place it on the bumper brackets, and then cut it and weld it to them. So this piece is like 99% done now. The last step will be to go ahead, prime it, and paint it. But you could see I had to go through, weld all those little pieces on there. Got 4, got the holes, drilled through all of them. That was tough, and that's what the pins are gonna be like. So they're gonna go all just like that. You won't ever be able to see it underneath the splitter. It'll look nice and clean. And we were talking, and originally our plan was to just weld this onto, you know, the bumper bracket here. But if you can see that surface area, it's enough to put a bolt on there. So we're gonna go ahead, drill a hole in that, drill a hole in this, put a bolt through that. That way, you know, if we ever gotta take the bumper brackets off, they're not like one giant piece that's connected by a bar in the middle there. You'll at least be able to move it. And then you can see this tab right there. It's kind of L tab. Once this gets set in place, it'll go like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole through there, drill a hole through this support, and bolt it all together. So, like I said, that'll just kind of go up there like that. Now, I need to go lay this piece over the top of this piece and drill 4 holes so the pins will also go through that. Alrighty, so this piece is 100% done minus paint right now. Went through and drilled the holes in this bottom piece here, so now it all matches. You can see the pins are all through it, and obviously it is mounted on the car. So originally I mentioned we were gonna weld this top bracket to the bumper brackets here. Then after, you know, thinking about it, we decided it's probably not a good idea, because if you gotta take the bumper brackets off, you got this bar between it. It's just kind of a whole pain. So these bolts here are welded to this bracket here. The head of the bolt is welded to it. Same thing on this side right there. And then there's this bracket right here with that little tab to 90, and then the bolt just goes through it onto this support piece. So you can see the pins are up right now. Probably once we get everything finalized, I'll probably have them going down. That way to pull this pin, it's a lot easier rather than, you know, to like try to reach your hand up here and such. You can just reach your hand right there and pull it out. I think that'll be the way to go. Right now, gotta go through, unbolt all this. Like I said, it's just kind of loosely up there so I can show you guys. Go through, prime and paint it all, and then toss the bumper back on until I go ahead and buy the piece of ABS plastic that will be the actual splitter. Bar's finally painted here. I went ahead and let it dry overnight. Just kind of want to make sure it was fully dry before I put it on here. Got it all bolted on, give them a washer, lock washer. It's actually super sturdy, which I am very happy about. So that's a good thing. It's a straight bar. You see you got the bolts over there. And the other piece back here, I'll go ahead and mount this once I get the ABS plastic. So I have to drill some holes in this to bolt the plastic to it. But now it's time to throw the bumper back on. Alrighty, what's going on everyone? It's been probably a week or two since we finished up the splitter mount. And as you can see behind me here, got this giant sheet of ABS plastic. Finally went out and bought this today. Just kind of been saving up on the side for it because, believe it or not, a sheet of plastic just like that, it's actually quite expensive. This is a 4x8 sheet. It's 1/4 inch thick, which wasn't the biggest fan of, but the only other option was 1/2 inch, and that was just, no, that was not gonna work. Other than that, this side has kind of got like a glossy, you can see a mirror, and then this side here, it's got like a texture. So I'm not really sure what side I'm gonna use for the front yet. I'm thinking this texture, because I don't really want to, as you can see, the reflection there. So we'll see what I end up deciding about that. But the reason we went with this instead of, a metal, aluminum, fiberglass, any of that stuff, is because this is flexible and it's light. So that was our goal with this. A lot of newer cars use ABS plastic. So, if it hits a curb or something or scrapes the ground, it should just be able to flex rather than crack. The only issue with it being 1/4 inch thick is I'm not totally sure if it's going to clear this little lip on the bottom of the bumper right there. So if we have to kind of trim that little lip, that's not really a big deal. I'm not too worried. This bumper's pretty beat. It's pretty dented up and twisted anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But you can see the mount's just been hanging on there, doing fine. So now, I'm gonna go ahead, lay the cardboard template out on this, trace it out, and get to cutting. Everything here is now marked out, measured, and taped out, ready to cut. So I just threw the template on this side and traced it kind of without thinking. I don't know why. I made this template all the way back in January, February, something along those lines. And yeah, I think that was 7 3/4, and I'm going with 6 3/4 now, or 6 1/2. I can't really remember. From that to the center. So this just was gonna look goofy and hang super low. So this should look good here. Symmetrical on both sides, unlike this one, because that's just cardboard mock-up. So now just put some tape around the line. I gotta cut on the inside of the silver line there. I'm gonna be using these special plastic jigsaw blades. So just picked these up, plugged one of them in the jigsaw here, and gonna go ahead and start cutting. Fingers crossed I don't mess this up. Day 2 of messing with this plastic here, trying to get a splitter made. Yesterday, I cut out 2. First, because I didn't like the first one, and the second one is a lot better, and that's the one we're working with right now. So, I had it mocked up on the car, had to take it off because it was just held on by a piece of tape, and that would have fell off going down the road. I did not want that. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through why I don't really like either of those, and what we're gonna do to solve that. The first attempt was this one on top right here, and if you just look at it, you can tell those lines on the bottom are pretty wavy. It's hard to cut in a straight line with a jigsaw like that. This side was better, but I don't know, I just wasn't happy with it, and it didn't fit right. Originally, the top was just going straight across, and now you can see it's kind of got a V shape. So after I messed up that on the bottom there, I just kind of used this to mock up and figure out what I need to do to match the contour of the bumper. And yeah, this one is a lot better. There's still some silver Sharpie on there. Turns out it doesn't come out with acetone, which doesn't matter because I'm gonna go ahead and paint this anyway. It's a little too like gray for my liking. I want it to match the spoiler on the black there. Have a nice dark black color, so we'll go ahead and paint it. The real issue is the angle of it. So this bracket here has a 65-degree angle on that piece, and turns out It looks like a 90 on the car. This just looks like a wall on the front. It has no angle to it at all. So, fortunately, this piece here you guys saw is welded together. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to make some little wedges or like angled pieces that go in between this plastic, this metal piece here. See if we can change that angle or not. Haha, finally. I had to do a couple things, but that looks freaking wicked. Let's see if I can get the whole thing in frame. That is almost perfect. Dang. So, made some plastic wedges and put them in there. You can't see, but they're in between that metal piece and the first plastic. They're also at ABS plastic. Not the biggest fan of it, honestly. The right way to do it, you know, would be make another bracket, you know, with the right angle. But I'd like to go through and make that bracket out of aluminum one day when I can. So I'll just do the right angle at that point. Had to trim this junk here off the bumper. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. It was right along, like right here, kind of where the bumper bracket was. So it was only like this section, it would stick out there. So the rest of the valance here would, you know, go all the way up, but these corners wouldn't, and they'd have to like twist like this, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So we cut those off, and now it is all good. You can see the angle there. That looks awesome. So yesterday was kind of all over the place with the splitter and what we had to do. I made these little like adjuster wedges, mounts, whatever you want to call them, that go on the bar in between the splitter, so it just alters the angle. Finished that up, still got to prime and paint it, but I did bolt up the splitter, and this is what it looks like. That is exactly what I wanted. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can get an angle from the side. That looks just wicked on there. Oh man. Oh, that looks so good. So you can see, I still got to paint this hardware. I'm going to go ahead and just paint it black, so it's not, you know, as obvious. But then the other ones are right there, and then right there. It took a while to, you know, get it centered and level, but we got it all. And dude, I still can't get over just how good that looks. You guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, but that's not the final one yet. Literally just going to go ahead and trace that one onto this sheet here and make an identical copy. Only because there's a couple things I don't like with like, there's some waves in the like the lines that I cut. I think I cut them straighter now that I've done it a couple times. So got the material, why not? Gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So I just gotta rip this one off here, go ahead, cut it out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and paint this top side like I talked about before. So here you can see the little wedges right there. I had, what were they, just these plastic pieces, just out of ABS plastic. And then I realized I had some extra material of that metal, so I was like, why not just use the metal? Welded those 4 little pieces on right there, on those 4 spots. Got it all drilled out, and you can see how it changes the angle. This isn't touching the plastic at all, but on the front there, so it's literally just a wedge. The right way to do it would have been to just remake this whole thing with the right angle, but this metal is expensive, so this will do for now. It's actually really strong, so I'm happy with that. It's been a couple hours, guys. Had some other stuff I had to do, but finally wrapped up cutting out the final splitter here. You can see those are the 2 other ones. This one is the one I just cut out. It turned out really nice. Just mocked it up on the bar here. Everything is all good. Now I need to go through, prime and paint these pieces. Gotta go through and paint the hardware so there's not silver bolt heads on a black piece. And then tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some flexible black paint to paint the face of this so it more matches the spoiler here. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but this part here, the plastic, is it's kind of like a gray, grainy piece where this is like a satin gloss. I don't know, looks different in the light here. That side, too reflective. We're gonna go with this, paint it, and that should be good. But then tomorrow, splitter should be wrapped up finally. Everything is now painted. Painted the actual plastic part with some plastic, wow, I can't talk. Plastic flexible paint. Painted all the washers black, so you know it's just not stainless on here. painted the bolt heads black and then painted the bracket last night. So everything's dry now. Time to go ahead, assemble it, and put it on the car once and for all. All right, guys, it is very cold out, hence why I have my hood up and I'm standing like this. But, oh, can you see that? It is finished. Let me flip the camera around and show you guys kind of what it looks like from some other angles and a close-up view. So, first of all, just take a second to look at that. Oh my gosh. It goes with the spoiler so well. Man. Color matches, the angles, the corners. It's just all on point, man. This was a lot more work than I expected it to be, but 1000% worth it. I've been wanting to do this before I even had a car. If you guys see some of the models I make, I always pretty much have a front splitter like this and a rear spoiler like that. So my car, whatever it was gonna be, I knew it was gonna have a spoiler and a splitter. I drew up so many Dusters before I even got this one of what I had them looking like, and these wheels, hood pins, black hood, spoiler, rear spoiler, it's all coming together. I mean, the yellow headlights of the black hood and the cables on the hood pins here with the splitter now, oh my gosh. Just little things like that I've wanted forever, and now it's all coming together. I'm so happy. The whole like splitter mount and the removable parts of it and everything just worked out. You can see the pins hanging down there. It's super easy to remove. It's a lot easier with two people, of course, but you could definitely do it. I've done it by myself plenty of times, mocking it up, taking it off and stuff. So it's for sure easy, and just I still can't get over how good that looks. That's just mean right there. That just looks tough. Oh man. So I'm gonna end this video off here because I'm freezing and I want to go back. I'm standing in the middle of a field getting some pictures. I appreciate you guys watching. This video was kind of all over the place. Plans changed with that a bunch, but I'm glad, you know, this is the final rendition, I guess you could say, of what it's gonna be, and it just looks beautiful. I was gonna add some splitter bars on originally, and I had bought them months ago. And just mocked them up, and it didn't look right. They look good on tuners, actual race cars where they're functional, or COTs, and that's about it in my opinion. I just like the plain flat valance like that. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.